Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, instructor for ANI 258, and we are working on Module 13. It's hard to believe we only have 3 weeks left, so I hope you guys have had a good week so far, or a good start of your week so far. In this module, we're gonna kind of start where we left off in Module 12, where you guys did your pre-production and prototyping of your medieval castle. So hopefully that went well for you. Again, you did a rough drawing, a final drawing in Photoshop, and then you prototyped it, BSP'd out the basic shapes that you want to use for the castle. And the only difference is now with this next module, we're going to be creating the terrain and we're going to be texturing the BSPs directly. Now, it doesn't mean you can't find modular assets, but they're a lot harder to find than the sci-fi modular assets. So if you find them and you want to use them, great, but it's not required. So you can texture directly on the BSPs. I am looking for more realistic textures, so just keep that in mind. All right, for this week, this is Module 13, Part 2. And in this module, you're going to continue working on your medieval castle, and you're going to be basically sculpting details into the landscape. So this is something that's going to be new. So I'm hoping you start this module early, so you can kind of fiddle around and kind of get an idea how the terrain editor works and how you can sculpt. It's very powerful, and we've got some videos for you to watch to help you with that. And you're going to follow your floor plan. Now, again, I didn't expect you guys to have everything figured out as far as elevation of your level. That's something that you guys can work out and kind of experiment with and see what works, what doesn't. And with that said, then you're going to go ahead and texture the terrain and texture the medieval castle. So everything needs to be textured basically in the whole level, which shouldn't take too long. Okay, to me the texturing should go fast. It's way harder to texture with Maya than it is texturing here. It's basically drag and drop. Now, you will need to have the Substance Painter plugin for Unreal Engine, so make sure you get that. And you can find that on the marketplace. All you have to do is type in Substance Painter plugin or Substance plugin, and it should come up, and just download it. And it's easy to install. Okay. All right. Anything else? Okay. Make sure you know the quiz 13. It's going to be for hotkeys, modes, and for place, paint, landscape, foliage, and geometry. Make sure you study up on that. I've got a lesson lecture on texture versus materials. So make sure you read that and understand what the differences between those two. And then I've got Introduction to Materials, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, and 4. So please go through those. Those are fairly short. That doesn't take too much of your time. But if you follow those and go through those, they create some textures from scratch. That will help you. All right, you need to come up with a materials list. So you'll need to have 20 types of materials, and I've got some set up here. So we've got the interior floor, interior walls, ceiling. So just think of all of the materials and textures you're going to need, and it's good to get a good, strong list first. So when you go out and try to find these materials, that you're going to find them a lot easier because you know exactly what you're looking for. Okay, so there's substance share, and you can check that out. And substance source, I think it's part of Adobe now. So I don't know. It's well worth paying for it. Especially we only have a couple 3 weeks left, and if you want to go ahead and maybe just do a month and then stop, obviously I'm not asking anybody to pay for anything. So, but if you want to do that, it's well worth it. If you're running out of materials, I do give you some just to play with. I've had some students say that they don't work. Some of them don't work. Let me know which ones don't work, or you're having problems with, so I can get you some other ones. But anyway, just let me know if something doesn't work, and I'll try to find something else for you. But anyway, most of the materials you should be finding on your own. Um, so here's the plugin. There's also a bitmap to Material 3. You can watch that. It's pretty cool. And that's also free with Substance Painter. Course assignment. I know this looks kind of daunting, but I try to break it up into uh, uh, basically 4 parts. So, objectives. Basically, you're going to find substance materials. You're going to create realistic materials, or you can find them. I prefer that you can get them on most of the materials on Substance Share. You can create a couple materials yourself if you want to. Okay. You want your materials. I want your textures to look realistic and not stylistic. And please watch all the video tutorials, content lessons, and course assignments. Just don't jump right to the bottom and expect to do well in this assignment, because you really need to read and watch the videos so you fully understand what you need to do. You're going to learn how to create a terrain with the tools in Unreal. And this is a very powerful area where you can kind of sculpt your terrain out and then add materials to it. And you're going to need to have 3 different types of materials. And I give you kind of a list right here. So the higher the elevation, you're going to have more rocky. In the lower levels, you're going to have grass. Okay. And we want to see pathways to going to the front of your castle. And if you have other buildings outside of the castle, then you're going to want trails or pathways to those as well. Okay, so again, this isn't that tough. You've already got your BSP all set up, so you're basically just going to find the textures that you need following your style and theme of your mood boards and your floor plan. So you're going to add materials to your BSPs directly. That means you're not required to find modular pieces. We used to do the Mayan level, which was extremely difficult. You can't find anything for Mayan level, so we had students really had some students were trying to find stuff, and I went out and tried to find some stuff. So there's a lot more that you can find with medieval. And so medieval is a lot easier to find assets, so you're gonna have a lot more assets you can choose from. Okay. So just make sure that you go through, if you've forgotten how to add materials. Down at the very bottom, I have the same, basically the same video tutorials I had when we first started to help you with materials, how to add them. So please watch that as a refresher if you need to. Okay. All right. If you need help with BSP work, you can watch this video too as well when we did the room, okay, and the environment. Okay, so just check that out. If you need help, a refresher on stuff, that's at the bottom. Okay, so all right. Okay, so we talked about a little bit about materials. Now, let's talk about what you need to turn in. This always seems to be an issue. I try to make it as plain as simple and as plain as possible. You guys know by now I need to have a 30-second, at least 30-second Bandicam walkthrough. And I need you guys to compress it. So if you can't compress it with Bandicam, if it doesn't offer you XVID. You have to download the XVID codec. You have to download it, and then Bandicam should have that. And I'm not sure if Bandicam has H.264, but if it does, that's what you need to be using for compression. Otherwise, your video is going to be very heavy. It's going to be a lot of megabytes, very large, and some of you complain about that, so you couldn't upload it. It's because you're not compressing it. So what I would recommend is most of you guys have Adobe products at home, and I would just use Premiere Pro. Just bring the walkthrough into Premiere Pro, and that I know that has export capabilities of using H.264 for compression, so you can do that. If you need more help, you just contact me, and I'll be happy to help you. Okay, so screenshots. So we need one top-down view, and then I need 4 screenshots. Perspective exterior screenshots of the entire textured level, all 4 corners. So the entire terrain and castle from all 4 corners. Okay, and then you're going to turn in 4 screenshots, perspective interior screenshots of the wall of the castle, middle of the castle. So basically, get closer this time and get just within the medieval walls and take shots from that perspective. Okay. And then you'll have 16 various screenshots from the interior of the rooms. I only need 1 corner of the room, and then a corner of the hallway. Okay. And you need to have at least 8 rooms, and I leave this up to you. So it's 8 rooms, or you could have 4 rooms and then 4 buildings outside of the castle, or 4 buildings within the castle somewhere. Those can be considered rooms. Okay? All right. Okay, so you need if you don't have spires, those are the things that stick up above the walls. Okay? So you should have all that pretty much completed. Now again, a lot of you guys use the the Unreal units, and 500 just turns out to be pretty. It does come out right, so it's 15,240 UUs in Unreal. So, and you know what? If you got to cut that down a little bit to 15,000 even, I'm okay with that. Or just don't want to go too much lower than that. We want to keep the level at least that size. Okay. All right. So here's some materials that you can look at, and some material lists that I've got so far. Just kind of give you an idea to help you along. And then here is a good example of. Now this, you don't have to make the mountains this big. This is pretty over the top. You don't need to go that high, but you don't want the plater to get out of your level. So that's the main thing. Okay, you can see that we've got rivers and really interesting things happening here, and pathways into, we got bridges. It's really pretty cool. And again, we've got spires that stick up. You can have them higher or about that same size if you want to. Okay. All right. So we want it to resemble a castle. Okay. Oh yeah. One last thing is it's daylight. We don't have to worry about nighttime lighting. It could be daylight lighting. If you'd like to do nighttime, feel free to. But it's daylight lighting. Okay. Make sure all the rooms are have some kind of basic lighting, so you can, when you're doing a walkthrough, you can see through, or when you're doing screen captures, you can see them. Okay, we got videos on landscapes, how to sculpting terrains, adding materials to surfaces, creating materials, landscape materials, and landscape painting. So it's pretty cool. It's got some great videos here for you guys to watch and learn more about terrain terrain sculpting and terrain editing. And then I've got my prep work for materials, videos that you guys have already watched, but if you want to refresh yourself, go ahead. And that, when you're all finished, that's about it. So in a nutshell, I know I went through it pretty quickly. And if you have questions about anything, you just let me know, and I'll be happy to help you. If there's something that you need and you haven't found that you would like to have, I might be able to find it for you on the substance source, and I can probably gather up some more information from people and probably send that out maybe mid-Wednesday or something if I get some, depending on what you guys send me. Maybe just send me one, material that you're looking for that you can't find, and I might be able to find it for you. Okay. Keep in mind that after this, if we look forward, the next one is you need to find some references. So you might want to start modeling and thinking ahead of what you want to model. You need to have 4, okay? And they don't have to be big, but 4 medieval assets that you can use to put in here. Now, you can use your swords. Now, if you've taken my class, we do some swords, low poly swords, and feel free to use those. Okay, so that'll be 2. So you only have to create 2 more. So, all right. So if you need help with that, you let me know, and I'll be happy to maybe send you some videos or show you where those videos are to how to create a dagger or something like that. It's pretty easy. All right. So turn in. Okay. These are just examples. These are not exactly what you're going to be turning in. Yours are going to be different. But interior. So we need to see from one corner of the room. I need to see. Give me a good aspect of that room, like the best angle of the room. Okay. So you're going to do interiors of every room. Okay. And hallways and stuff like that. And then we've got of all 4 corners. And this isn't the best shot, but this gives you an idea that we're just inside the walls or just outside the walls. We're not as far away as we were before. So this is too far away for this one. So we're going to get closer in. You can show off your texturing that way, and I really need to see your texturing to grade you appropriately. All right, so that's just an example. And here's a top view example of what I'm looking for. And then we need all 4 corners here. So we need a lot more. We need 4 of these, just 1 of those, top view, and then 4 of these. And then we need a bunch of the interior ones so I can see all the rooms. And of course, we need the 30-plus second walkthrough movie. Okay? If you have questions, just contact me. I hope you have a great week. The texturing part here is much, much easier than trying to find modular assets, and you just put them right on here, so it should go fairly quickly. And if you're doing a castle, you're basically going to find one awesome texture and then use it throughout the whole thing, so it makes it a lot easier to texture. Okay, so the castle itself shouldn't take that long. All right, so have a good week. You have questions, need help, you contact me, and I'll be happy to help you. And you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next time.